the Advocacy Center, people from the defense side as well. It's where people learn to be good trial lawyers, learn a variety of skills, learn their ethical obligations in addition. It's an invaluable resource.
Well, we appreciate your visit, and it'd be a place where, you know, cybersecurity is probably the issue of the 21st century, and whether it's a crime, an act of war, it depends on, I guess, who's involved, but a lot of local law enforcement folks probably have no idea how to handle this, and it'd be a good way to kind of educate the country as a whole. And the collaboration between the University of South Carolina and the NAC, I appreciate. And I want the committee to know that we took about 200 or 300 Department of Justice jobs out of Washington because after 9/11 we were worried about having every part of our government in one city. And we moved those folks down to South Carolina and Columbia, and you leased a building from the university. It saved about $35 million. So I just want to applaud you for trying to be creative to decentralize DOJ so that in case we're ever attacked here, we don't lose all of our national assets, and it was a way to save money. So,
and we also have that relationship with the university about the rule of law component as well, and I think that's been a good synergy.
To my colleagues, you know, I've been to Afghanistan and Iraq like many of you, and we're trying to develop a rule of law program in Iraq, Afghanistan, Africa, you name it. Without some basic rule of law, no country can develop. And all the lessons we've learned the hard way from making mistakes, but finally getting it right in many ways, we're trying to create a center at the University of South Carolina where those who've been overseas can share their thoughts about what worked, what didn't. You could train before you went. Department of Justice, Department of Agriculture, Department of Defense. This is a team. This war requires a team concept, and we're trying to reach out to the Islamic world and create partnerships with lawyers and attorney generals and judges in the Islamic world so we can understand them better than they can understand us. And I'm excited about it, and I appreciate your support. Now, Justice Scalia came out yesterday or the day before talking about he thought it would be wise if we looked at our federal criminal code, particularly in the drug area, and see if we could reform it. And I think he's right. I think we've federalized way too many crimes, creating work for our judiciary that could probably be better handled at the state level. And what do you think about the idea of revamping the federal criminal code and looking at maybe undoing some of the over-federalization?
I've asked, when I came into office, I've set in place a number of working groups to look at that problem, that issue. Are we bringing the right people into the federal system? Are the sentences that we have for the crimes that are federal ones appropriate?
Like crack cocaine, and we finally fixed that, but that was just sort of an indefensible sentencing disparity.
Right, and I think the bipartisan effort that resulted in the lowering of that ratio from 100 to about 16 to 1 was something that was long overdue, and I think was a great example. People don't focus on it, but it was an example of, you know, Republicans and Democrats getting together and doing the right thing, not only for the system, but something I think was morally right as well.
And an area where we may disagree, we'll talk about the law of war later. We don't have time here, but the recess appointments made by President Obama a while back to the NLRB, is there a situation similar to that in the history of the Senate or by our previous president of appointing someone to a federal agency under those circumstances that you're aware of?
Well, I mean, if you look at the 23-page, I think it is, 23-page report by the Office of Legal Counsel, they go through a variety of precedents. They look at the laws that exist, tradition, and the conclusion that they reached was that given the length of the recess,